it got crazy. It was awesome. Like I enjoyed it. Got to let loose, man. There was no holding back on people and just hitting them. And guys like Mameluke, he was right next to me. I watched him. I was with him. And guys like Jack Victory was out there. And they were leveling people, man. Jack Victory was hockey punching people. It was great. But, people, roadkill right out there with me. And we were all doing it. And it was great. And I turned around. I remember seeing this. I turned around and I saw New Jack.
Oh no, they're fucked now.
New Jack was on crutches. He had a broken foot and he was on crutches and he was going, "Come on, motherfucker!" And he was screaming at people. And he dropped the one crutch and he was waiting. He was gonna hit people with his fucking crutches.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 55 Live podcast in conjunction with the WZWA Network. I'm one of the co-hosts of this program, Karlifornia in Fury. And here today, I'd like to introduce my co-host, of course, the one and only Mr. 55 Live, Jack Wallace. Jack, how are you going today, my friend?
I'm going fabulous tonight, actually. How are you, Carl?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had 3 beers now, so I think it's necessary to sink a few cold ones because today we're talking to somebody that I'm very interested in the career of. I can't find any full-length shoot interviews of this guy, so this will be the ultimate interview that this man will have in his career. So pretty pumped up, Jack.
Oh, it's going to be a pleasure. I'm very looking forward to it, and it's going to brighten up my day because I lied. I'm not actually feeling fabulous. I jammed my finger in a door, so this is going to be the you know what I'm saying? It's going to be the
it's going to make everything better.
It's going to make everything just so much better.
Excellent, bro. And at this time, I guess it's time to introduce our guest for this episode of the 55 Live podcast. He is a former member of the full-blooded Italians in ECW as the bodyguard. He is none other than Big Sal E Graziano.
Oh man, thanks. Such a build-up. There is so much to live up to here. This is horrifying. This is horrifying.
I know you said that you think that me and Jack were going to fall asleep during this.
Yeah, this is going to be a 15-minute show.
If you think that we've got
your
another
shortest show in history.
The only way we're going to be falling asleep is if I drink too many beers or Jack smokes too many billies.
Yes, probably the latter.
Fair enough.
So how are you going today, bro?
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for having me. This is really cool. I've actually been looking forward to this. I told them, I told the guys on Conspiracy Horseman, I said, I'm doing a show, and I kept messing up your name, Carl. I kept calling you California instead of Karlifornia.
Right.
And I'm like, is that the guy's name, California? And they're going, and then I talked to Brent and he smartened me up to the whole thing. I said, oh, all right. I get it now. Now I get it. Not a smart man. It takes me a while to catch up, but I'm looking forward to doing this. This will be fun. Like I really, honestly, I didn't do a lot of interviews. Only because, like, how many times can you hear the same stories from people, and we all, we're all going to talk about how much we loved it. And, we've seen the 67 resurrections of ECW and all the people trying to cash in. And I never thought about it and just, all right, let's move on. Let's do something else. So I don't mind. I enjoyed the time. I like talking about it. And, the fact that you have legit interest, and I said, sure, man, this is cool. If somebody asks, I'll talk. That's all it takes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It'll be fun.
Yes, me too, Sal.
What a build-up. Jeez.
Agreed.
Jack, you want to take it away?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Of course, we wanted to start with sort of your early life, becoming a wrestling fan. Like most people who get into the wrestling business, we're all kids wanting to be the next Hulk Hogan. Is that the same case for you?
Well, yeah, like again, pretty much anybody you sit in the seat who's a professional wrestler, and you ask them, so how did you get started? And they'll all say the same thing. I used to love wrestling when I was growing up. And the same thing applied. I grew up in Queens. It was, and this probably means zero to you guys too. Channel 9 had WWE, WWF at the time. WOR's Channel 9 was at a Sea Caucus out of Jersey, and they had WWF on TV. So we would watch it there, and that was always Saturday. I want to say Saturday afternoons, and me and my dad would watch it, or me and my grandpa would watch it, stuff like that. And then, obviously Vince grew the brand and all that. So, then we moved to the bigger and better, started getting on Channel 5, which is Fox back in the day. It started going on like right after cartoons. So Saturday morning cartoons and wrestling, that was it. That was the big shit. And then also Chiller Theater, because that was on too. So that was be a thing. And then Saturday night's main event, which also is, now we got older. So Saturday night's main event, we would stay up late and watch that. And at that point is the only other wrestling I had ever heard of was from magazines. NWA, anything Texas, all that stuff was unavailable to us up north. I didn't have cable. We were watching WWF. That was it. That was the real stuff. Everything else was garbage. And we're like, ugh, yuck, And then I remember, I know this is very trivial, but growing up, and I was at a sleepover with a friend. We were hanging out and we were watching it, and we on American TV, we have UHF channels, which used to be the bottom dial on your TV.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to talk to you guys like idiots. Like, I don't know what you guys have. I could say something, you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Jack's a bit younger than me, so I don't think he ever had to deal with those types of
never
things.
used one of those TVs, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was 2 dials on a TV at one point, man. So the bottom one was UHF, and we found Florida wrestling. Dusty Rhodes, the Purple Haze, Kevin Sullivan, and we were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Because, again, we had never, seeing names, didn't know who people were, but now we were seeing them on TV. We had to watch through this fuzzy screen. And it was Saturday nights, late night, I think it was 12 o'clock, and we would, sneak out and go watch UHF, watch Florida wrestling. And so, like, now we felt like we found something. Like, we were the 2 people in New York who knew this. Nobody else knew about this wrestling but us. And, come to find out, we were probably the last people who knew. Moved to Jersey, got cable, and was smartened up to so much more wrestling. Started watching NWA. Started watching, Texas stuff. I got some Japan stuff, some Lucha Libre stuff. And it kept building. When you're a fan, especially when you're younger, this is your obsession. This is what your life is. When you're not at school being bored or, listening to bullshit from everyone else, this is what you went to. So you wanted to find out as much as possible. So like everyone else, you just absorbed anything you found on wrestling. So, and it was a great time back in the 80s was amazing for, the rock and wrestling stuff. And that hit a big boom. It was on MTV. It was everywhere. Wrestling was everywhere. So you could see, you could always watch WWF and catch it somewhere. Yeah. And now I found out, even when we're not watching that, we can watch it somewhere else. We can we can read the magazines. And it just kept building, and you just kept wanting to do it. So the minute, you got to school and they did give us an essay, what you'd like to do. And you're like, well, I'd like to be a professional wrestler. And they're like, oh, and everybody laughs because it's not, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an architect. And you're like, well, I want to be a professional wrestler. I think it's awesome. What? You're going to start what? Yeah. And, you have your parents come in because they're like, I think your son's retarded. so that's how it all started. It all starts with the same. Everybody will tell the same story. Everybody was just obsessed with wrestling as a kid.
Everyone was. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone I know, man. Like, and they all talk, like people my age, man. I'm 22 years old, so they're always talking about, like Rey Mysterio's, Batista's, all those sorts of guys from when we were growing up in 2007.
Right.
But that sort of follows through every generation all the way back. So who is your like influences growing up from wrestling?
Straight out, Blackjack Mulligan was one of my favorites growing up. Like, because, and here's the deal. First of all, he looked like my Uncle Bobby, which I always pop for. I thought it was huge, hysterical. But he used to do the claw. And he would hit dudes with the claw on TV. And they'd put a big X over the screen so you couldn't see the blood. That he would dig from the claw, and it was like, oh shit, he broke this guy's skull open, that sort of thing. And it was just amazing. Then I got to see the Road Warriors live at the Dunn Center in New Jersey. I think I was in a freshman year in high school, and I got to see them live, and it was awesome. Like, it was just amazing. But my father and my grandfather used to take me to live events. Back when Vince used to run in the back of churches, like, so now you're 22. So back in the day, Vince used to put during the show, we're going to be WWE live, and Finkel would do it. And it would be like, Our Lady of the Holy Perpetual Faith in Bensonhurst, like they were doing bingo halls. They were doing churches and back, behind schools and indoor events like that, where you were getting a couple hundred people. And to me, like, that was just so. I saw that was Sergeant Slaughter, Blackjack Mulligan, Jimmy Snuka. Those were the guys who I grew up watching. And then those were the guys who I was just like, wow, man, this is awesome. And I used to, this is so bad. It's fucking, who cares? I used to have a black cowboy hat when I was a little kid. Yeah. And I used to wear a weightlifting glove, like Blackjack Mulligan. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And it's stupid. It's dumb, but when you're fucking around on a weekend, that's what you're doing, being an idiot. But that was the thing. And then when I got older, I started liking the other, huge fan of Jake Roberts, huge fan of Vader, like his Japan shit, and Stan Hansen. Love those guys. So I always was drawn to those guys. But then, of course, I don't care who you are. Bullshit. I call bullshit to anybody who says no. You had Hogan, who, as a kid, you loved Hogan. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care what kind of heel you are, what kind of a badass you're going to tell everybody you are. Everybody loved Hogan until they turned into a teenager, and then everybody hated Hogan. That's just how it works. But those were the things, man. Like, you love those guys, and these were the guys who you wanted to pattern yourself after. One of the people who I found by accident and always loved was the Great Muta. Yeah. I loved Great Muta. I loved Kendo Nagasaki, and I loved the Great Kabuki. I thought those guys were great. And you didn't see them on TV. You never got to see those guys. I read about them in magazines and was obsessed with them. I loved them, loved everything about them. So that, those were guys who influenced me. And of course, me being a high flyer, they were the guys who completely influenced me in my wrestling career, because that's like just watching the stuff they did. It was just stuff I've never seen before.
It must have been frustrating seeing these guys in these magazines and being obsessed with them and not having the chance to see them. And I guess maybe you'd have to buy some tapes somewhere.
So that was another huge part of growing up in Jersey. Now, there was a place called Route 1 Flea Market, and Headhunters, no longer available. These guys used to sell tapes for everything. They had wrestling, they had music, they had movies, all bootleg, all rare shit. It would be like Kiss in Japan 1982. And you're like, and you buy this tape for $45 because it's a Kiss rare tape. And you put this tape in, and it's a purple fucking line across the screen, and you can barely see the fucking stage. But you see Gene blowing fire, and you're like, damn, yeah. Oh, it was just. But then you get these wrestling tapes. That's also where I found the wrestling tapes. And I would get some of these Japan shows or Mexico shows, and I would watch them, even if I never heard of the guys. And you're like, who the fuck is this? And you watch these guys, and it's amazing, the shit they were doing, because we did not get to see that on WWF TV. Even when we were watching NWA, Like that was cool because it was new to me, but it wasn't the level that I was watching on these tapes and going, man, wow, look at this. Oh shit, look at this barbed wire matches. And oh wow, look at this dude's jumping fucking crazy. Amazing stuff. Stuff that you did not see on TV.
Yeah. So
yeah.
With
go ahead, man.
With your interest in sort of all that innovative sort of high flying wrestling that was very fresh in the early 90s, how did you first discover ECW and what was your initial reaction to it?
Okay, ECW. I found, let's see, I had just started training 91.
Yep.
90 and 91 dates. Forgive me for dates, but I believe it was 91 because that was my senior year of high school.
Yep.
So I had started training then. I might have started training like that summer before, so 90. Anyway, doesn't matter. I was up, we were hanging out one night, and I caught ECW on MSG at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the fuck is this? And it was an arena show. And it was actually 911 and Taz. Right? So I was like, I know Taz. Like I knew Taz from Gleason's. That was, I knew Taz from Gleason's. And then, was it ECPW or something? One of the other, it was another Fed where he was the Tasmaniac. So again, I'm like, oh, shit, I know Taz. Oh shit, And then I'm watching it going, this guy 911. I'm like, this guy is a monster. Look at the size of him. And I realized he was just working with Taz, so he looked huge. When I first met 911, I was standing there and I was like kind of looking around. And I looked down. I was like, oh, hey, man. He's like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm like, hey, Sal. He goes, Al. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. Oh, shit, that's 911. I'm like, oh, shit, that guy's smaller than I am. All right. Yeah. But then I realized he was working with Taz, so the guy looked like a giant. But that was how I found it. And I remember going, Jesus, this looks crazy. And I said it to my friend. I was sitting across from my friend DJ, and I go, this shit's crazy. What the fuck? That's all I said. And I never, I wasn't like, I'm going there. I didn't have that in my mind. I was just like, all right, we'll see what happens. So I was doing other stuff at the time too. I was, working on different stuff. And I did a couple of shows, I was doing indie shows, and I did a couple of shows, and then Devon reached out to me, and I went to Gleason's. I trained with Devon. Devon had been in ECW for a bit. I had just gotten back from Malaysia. I did a show in Malaysia, and with Sergeant Slaughter and who else?
It
was Sergeant Slaughter, Cousin Luke, Johnny Rods, Big Hito. Snuka, who else? Demolition, Bundy, Bam Bam. Like it was a great, and that was my thing. I did indies with all those guys for a long time.
Wow.
I got, because Johnny Raj trained me. Johnny would take us to shows, and it'd be one of those things where Johnny, I apologize for the bird in the back.
All right.
It's fucking killing me. So we would go to these shows, and we would do places like Horsehead, New York, or like bumfuck Massachusetts, shit like that. We would do these indie shows, but like I got to work with S.T. Jones, I got to work with Junkyard Dog, I got to work with Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik. I got to work with all these guys my first year of wrestling. Like these were the guys who I was traveling with. These are the guys who I was working with, and things, little nuances I never ever even thought about, or never been taught or trained. And I was trained pretty well. Like they taught me, Johnny is the master of the business. Okay, he can in and out, and people. And that's the thing. Like when watching, you used to see Johnny Rods as the jobber on TV. Yeah, and he'd be like jobber. And you realize my man knew so much shit. Like him and Piper used to live together, and him and Piper used to train. Like all these things that you start finding out, you're like, wow, the wrestling business, as a kid, the minute you get into the business, all goes away because everything gets blown the fuck apart. Everything you believed in, everything you thought was real, you find out is a work, and you're just like, what? So yeah, it was you know, it was one of those situations where I was extremely lucky. And so again, my first year of wrestling, I was doing this with all these guys, and I was asked to go to Malaysia as part of this group package thing. And we all went, and it was a big deal for us. It was really it was insane. We went, and there was news cameras at the airport, and come on, man. I didn't know shit about anything. Super fucking green, and I didn't know dick. But I had these guys, these older guys, you know, Bundy and Bam Bam, Axe, and they were all there to say, hey, look, don't do this, do this. Hey, you got to do this, don't do this. Hey, watch out for this, do this. And I was so glad to have them there. They were super, super cool guys. Sergeant Slaughter, and this was so insane. I was sitting in a pool with Sergeant Slaughter, and we were talking. And I was like, holy shit. And all I wanted to do was like, I got to take a picture. Nobody's going to believe this. And then it's like, no, stupid, don't do that. You're a professional. Be a professional. Funny story about that. I wound up in Malaysia. It rains every morning, and then it's sunny in the afternoon. And it was gray outside, and we were sitting out in the pool on this roof of this hotel. That's how it was amazing. And I'm talking with Sergeant Slaughter, and I wound up getting sunburned to a point where I had blisters. I had sunburn blisters. And Sergeant, I told Sarge, you know, I figured, hey, we're buddies now. And I went, Sarge, man, I go, look at this. I got fucking blisters. And he went, bah, and he fucking chopped me across the chest. It's hard. And he goes, ha, 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 ha. And he laughed about it. You know, it was funny. Now it's funny. Back then I was like, what am I doing? But yeah, it was funny. And, but I was lucky to have these people with me. Guys like Tommy Dreamer. I trained with him. I knew Tommy from back in Gleason's, and he was another guy who was always super cool and somebody that I became friends with. I became good friends with him and loved the guy. So I knew these guys from ECW, but I never asked anybody. I was like, hey, can I get a job? I just never thought about it. And then Devon calls me and he's like, hey, you want to come for a tryout? And I was like, sure. When you want to do this? He's like, next week. I said, yeah, we'll do that. The week before, I was in a show for Cousin Luke in the Martin Luther King High School in Queens, Astoria, Queens, I think it was. Anyway, went to the back, did my match, went to the back, took my boots off. He came and goes, hey, you want to do me a favor? You need to do a run out for the Battle Royal. Going to do? I said, yeah, no problem, Luke. We'll go do it. So I run back out, and I shit pickle myself over the top to get out to go chase someone else. And as I come out, I hit my fucking bare ankle on this guardrail and broke it.
Oh, fuck, man.
Fucking hell.
I have never had a broken bone in my life. I've had, you know, broken toes or fingers and ribs. No big deal. This was the first broken real bone. So I said, I walked out of there. I put my gear off, took it, got dressed, and I walked up this gigantic flight of steps into the Martin Luther King High School auditorium. It was awful. And I get in the car, me and my friends, we drove home. And I'm laying on the couch, and I'm going, no, man, next week I just got to rub this off. I've got ice around my foot. I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll be good. And I get a call. Devon's like, yeah, you ready? I'm like, yeah, man, next week is going to be perfect. And I take the fucking ice off, and my ankle's black. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean, something? So I wound up getting the cast on. Broke the cast off in 3 weeks. Because I was like, I'm done with this, and started wrestling again. And we rescheduled my tryout, which I was heartbroken, but I did it. And Devon, I was Queens, New York. It was at on Queens Boulevard. Famous place now for us. And I worked Spike Dudley. And did the deal with Spike. I came out, and it was amazing because I was nobody. Nobody knew who I was.
Yep.
I came out and they introduced me as Sal E. That's all he said. Whatever, I don't care. So I went out and they told me, he goes, just start posing like Hogan. So I said, all right. So I went out and I threw up the fucking poses, started posing, and the crowd hated me. They were just absolutely, they just did not, they booed and they were just angry. And I'm doing the Hogan poses and I'm, doing it, and they're getting fucking heated. And I'm like, I'm laughing because I'm loving this because this is amazing. And then they hit Spike's music. He runs out, 3D, acid drop, boom, done. All right. So I, take the bump, Spike 1, 2, 3. He walks up, he leaves eye powder out, and I go walking in the back, and there's Shane Douglas and Bam Bam and those guys, and they're all looking at me with these faces like I just fucking shot their mom. And I'm like, and Shane Douglas goes, well, you fucked it. You did it now. And I'm like, oh shit, like what did I, like literally, what did I do? Like I was in the ring for 30 seconds. And I did everything. And Spike had said, Spike was standing with his arms folded, like shaking his head. And I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? And Shane goes, well, you fucked up. You got a job. And I'm like, oh, cool, man. That was fun. So I was like, yeah. And then, from that point on, it was basically, we're going to be here. Get there.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. And I got there. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like people automatically, they're like, oh, you got signed. No, you don't. I got in there, and then you got there. You got to the places they were working.
Yep.
Awesome.
And after I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, hey, Jack, you know what's happening right now?
What's
Sal
happening?
is answering questions that we haven't asked yet. That's on our.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's
that's good.
okay.
That's
No, it's
good.
okay. I'm just looking at the questions, and I'm like, he's just ticking off all the questions without us having to ask them.
It's good. It's good.
But this is what happened the last couple of interviews. It seems to always happen.
I like it. I
story-
kind of prefer it.
the story rolls along, and we don't need to keep chiming in with our bullshit. So that's how you that's how you got hired by ECW. I have to apologize because as I was doing my research for the interview, I can't find any information about you. So I had no idea that you started in '91 and that you were trained by
ECW. I didn't
know any of
get
that.
to ECW till 1997.
Yeah, that's it.
That's when I first started.
I had no idea that you had already been working.
Yeah. I was on and off.
CageMatch.net doesn't have the appropriate information, obviously.
I was back and forth from 91. I was basically, I would do the summer shows. Like I would go with Johnny and we would do state fairs and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I went to college for a year. So then like I took time off from that, and then I stopped. I dropped out of college. I was like, this is not for me. It's not what I want. And then I did other things. I did some movies, and I did I was going other directions. And when wrestling would come, I would take it. If I had the opportunity, I'd go.
Okay.
All right. Oh, if we got this, all right. Yeah. Oh, the show's going to be here. Cool. I'll be here. Yeah, that'll be great. So I would do local stuff from Jersey. Living in Jersey, I would do local stuff. We had a local promoter, Dennis Galam, UWA, I think it was. It was fun stuff. It was just, that's where I got to meet Bill DeMott.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I met Bill DeMott before I got into the business. He was doing the Road Warrior Crash, which obviously didn't go anywhere, but he did that. And back when he's also a Johnny Rodz guy. And he was known as Sweet William back in the day. So when I had saw him again, I was like, oh my God, I remember that guy. Because my first event, my first match at the Browns Hotel in upstate New York, as the Monster Mat Man. That was Johnny Rodz' creation. And I wore a hood for a long time. I loved the hood. I loved wearing hoods. Thought it was great. If I couldn't wear hoods, I wanted to wear makeup. And Johnny was like, no, don't do that. So he always wanted me in a hood. He kept telling me, oh, your face, look at you. You look like you're 12 years old. You're 12 years, you're not scary. You're not scared. Grow a beard. And I'm like, I don't want to grow a beard. And well, grow a beard, you fucking idiot. You look like you're 12 years old. And then put a hood on. You got to put a hood on. So that was the runaround for years. Me and him went back and forth at that. I was always into horror, wanted to do horror stuff. And he's like, listen to me. And I listen to him because he knows, and people kind of laugh sometimes. And me and Spanish Angel from the Baldies.
Yeah.
So Angel's original gimmick was the Spanish Flamingo. And that was from Johnny. Oh, yeah.
Hell.
So, yeah, and then Angel came up with a different idea, to wear the half leather mask long before Mankind did it.
Yeah.
That was, so that was the thing. It was really cool to see, Johnny let us kind of do our own thing, but in the end we did what he wanted. But he had the experience, so we listened to him. So again, met Sweet William again, Bill at shows in Jersey. And I used to give him shit as a fan on one side of the rail. And then I started talking to him, and then I realized, I was like, oh man, once I had my first match and he saw me, he's like, oh, hey man, he recognized. And I said, oh yeah, how you been, man? Great guy. One of the best guys ever, who I feel like, again, I'm not going to take any political platform or anything, but they demonized that guy to some extent because they always said he was so harsh on people and he was rough on people. Well, he was a trainer. He wanted to make sure, people were trained well.
Has nobody heard of Stu Hart?
Right. Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Somebody like Stu Hart does it and they go, oh, he was tough in the dungeon. And then guys like Bill do it and they go, oh, he just bullied people. All right, whatever. So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Jack, you had a couple more questions in your section before it was time for me to take over?
Before your ECW debut in 97, were you training at all in the House of Hardcore to sort of scratch up to their style, or they just throw you straight in? Straight in?
No, here's the thing. I'd never been to the House of Hardcore. I was there a few times to go pick up stuff. Never trained there. The thing about Gleason's, once you are a member at Gleason's and you pay your dues, you are a member for life.
Yep.
Right.
You go whenever you want. You go and you work out. You go and you train. And that was the thing. There were times on just you work for the week and then go on the weekends and you go work out at Gleason's. And you see the guys and you have, that was the thing. Like we would just all meet up and we all work. And then when we weren't going to Gleason's, we were doing indie shows. So it was kind of like you just never stopped. It wasn't a situation of just like, I'm not going to go train today and just don't do anything. You were always somewhere. You were either training or working.
Yeah.
So, so it was one of those things. And again, I look back now talking about it, looking back, it was like, I don't even know what they do anymore. Like, I'm not sure what what the schools are doing now, but I knew Gleason's was something like that's always been a thing. Like that was a cool brotherhood of people. Even the guys who didn't get along.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
You're up, Carl.
All right. So you did mention your ECW debut. I suppose that was at a house show with little Spike Dudley.
Mm-hmm.
How long after that were you now told by whoever that you were going to be joining the Full-Blooded Italians with Little Guido, Tommy Rich, and Tracy Smothers?
So I was doing the program with Spike for a while. And it was just, it was great. Go in, you do your gaga, and then Spike comes in, acid drop, call it a day. And I was like, fuck, yeah, all right.
Was every match like you go for a clothesline, he ducks, kicks you in the dick, acid drop,
Yep.
1, 2, 3?
Acid drop. Yep, that was the deal. So
easy night at the office.
Right. So now the thing is, and I know this is probably old hat by now. People know this, but you just, go in and do your job. No, don't bitch. And then go and go, I'm not getting enough of a push. Can I get more TV time? You don't do that. Like, you didn't do that shit. You just do what they do. They'll figure something out for you. And that was the thing. They didn't know what to do with me. They put me with Just Incredible for a while. And it was me, Justin, Jason. And it was like,
Nicole
it was
Bass.
always, not yet. She wasn't
Not
there
yet, no.
And I think Chastity.
Okay, yeah.
So like, it was always us together. We'd go out and there would be a schmoz, and it was always with us, a big thing at the end where we all got involved. So I was with Justin's crew for a while. And then they came up with an idea. I want to say it might have been Shetty and Danny Doring, where they wanted to do like a Sally Nightlife. and they were going to do this gimmick where I had a disco ball and would just hold it. And I would bring red velvet ropes and I would be the bouncer for them. Him and Chetty would show up in the silk shirts and the whole bit. And then I would do the bouncer gimmick and just do promos and stuff. And we thought it would be fun. It just never came about. Paul said he loved the idea of Saturday Night Life. He's like, oh, I love it. It's great. And then nothing ever came out of it. And the one day they decided to put me with the FBI.
Yeah.
And they thought, okay, well, instead, put Guido on your shoulders. So when you walk out, it's all right. And we did that. Little did I know I'd be wearing him as a hat for the next couple years. And so, yeah, that was the thing of you just go out with them. And then at the pay-per-view, we did when we ditched Tommy Rich.
Yeah.
And that was like my first big push.
What was it like to work with Guido?
Oh, Guido's insane. He's a maniac. Yeah, he's legit nuts. He's super smart because he's not going to watch this, so I can say that. He is always 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And he can take someone out so fast. It's so funny because he's a small dude and he could just take someone right the fuck down. It's amazing to watch him actually shoot on somebody. It's great. But he's so nervous about everything else. He is legit. He worries about everything. I don't look. Is it okay? Do you think Tommy's going to get mad? And he was always worried because he knew after the show he had a car ride with Dreamer and probably Paul. So if something went wrong, he was going to hear it. And he was always worried. Always worried. He's the guy who will call you and want to discuss the match and likely send you 17 pages of ideas.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, Guido, we just have to go out 5 minutes and then we have to powder out of the ring. Okay, but what if we do this? And then it would be a 12-layer story he wanted to tell in the ring. And you're like, okay, well, let's just call it in the ring. And when anybody wanted to rib him, no matter who it was who worked with him, all they would say was, let's call it in the ring. And he would lose his mind. He would just go bananas. And he would, no, wait. And he would get fucking nervous and he gets upset. He can't think. And he would just get crazy. So we would love doing that to him. We would get to an event and the show would start at 7. And it would, the lineup would be up and we're on like 4th, 3rd or 4th. And then Dreamer would just walk up to him and go, Quiz, you guys are on first. We switched it. Wait, what? I didn't work out yet. He didn't do anything yet. So he'd freak out. And then Dreamer would just walk by. And I'd go, are we on first? He goes, no. So it would be one of those things where he would just go bananas. And honestly, he's a machine, that dude. Unreal. And he looks, you know what? Like I just talked to him not long ago. He looks just as good as he did.
I can imagine.
Like unreal.
From the 90s up until he was like, in the later stages of his WWE career, he always looked
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
He's like, I expect to find a weird picture somewhere in his house that's aged and horrible, like Dorian Gray, because he doesn't. He just doesn't age.
Would I be correct in stating, cagematch.net is where I went to get information about you, and I'm not sure if it's all correct, but would I be correct?
Did it say I died in there?
No, but there's something on Reddit. Someone asked if you were still alive on Reddit.
There was like I think 3 times I died.
But would I be correct in stating that it was August 20th, 1998 that you made your ECW Hardcore TV debut in New York against Spike Dudley?
Maybe. Dates I'm no good at. There are people who we did a trivia game and they were like, on this date. I was like, what? I was there and I don't remember. Like I was I have no idea what date that was. But I think when we did the Hardcore TV, I think I did do the program with Spike. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was also August 29th, 1998, you wrestled on Hardcore TV in Philly against John Cronus.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like you during that time you were mainly working with Cronus and Spike on a lot of the house shows.
House shows. Yep.
What are your memories of working with John Cronus?
Again, I'm probably going to use this word a lot. He was a mental patient. I think I'm going to use that word for most of the people that I hung out and worked with, because it always just seemed like. So, okay, people have jobs where you go to the office and then they go and have a beer, and then they go home and they're telling stories about, so there's this one guy at the office. He is the funniest guy. He does a spot-on impersonation of Bill Cosby, and you're like, okay. John Cronus is that guy you would tell work stories about, but then they were just so far out there, because you'd be like, there's a guy I work with who showed up to the show bleeding. And you're like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, he showed up to the building. He was already bleeding. Okay. And this was like a Friday. So like, it wasn't like you were working during the week. So what the fuck are you bleeding for? And he would go, no, don't worry about it. Let's go. Okay, let's go over the match. And you're like, yeah, sure. Okay. He was honest guy, like just to talk to you and tell you if something's wrong, he didn't like it, he would tell you. But he's just insane. And the same will go, and maybe we'll talk about it later. Balls Mahoney, who became a good friend of mine, complete mental patient.
I was about to bring him up.
Yeah.
17th of April 1999 on Hardcore TV in Buffalo, you and Guido teamed up against Axel and Balls Mahoney.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, first and foremost, have you ever taken a chair shot from Balls Mahoney?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Actually, yeah.
Yikes.
I got to no-sell it, which was pretty good, so I took 2 more for my troubles.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think it's actually, it might be the LA
the Heat Wave pay-per-view, yeah.
Yeah, because he hits me with the chair, do the no-sell, and he hits me again. And the chair got fucked. The chair was destroyed. And I think, and also memories of my 3rd grade class were gone with that chair shot. But then, we had, LA was good. We had fun. Sorry. Yeah, chair shots. So there you go. It works. I've took the chair shots. I've never taken the chair shots guys like Danny and RK took, but that was rough. But yeah, I've like that. Yeah, we've had some good ones, and here's the thing, I was a younger man then, and I was very much wanting approval, so I would volunteer for things.
Of course, yeah.
I would volunteer. Hey, man, you know what I'll do? I'll jump off a ladder and go through a table. Yeah, I'll do that. You want me to? I'll do it off the apron. I'll carry Super Crazy off the apron and go through a table. Yeah, I'll do it. You guys, you want to fuck? You need color? I'll do it. And they never, like, Dreamer would never let me. He would like, no, don't. And he just wouldn't let me. So I was like, God damn it. But yeah, he was. Do
you have any crazy Balls Mahoney stories?
Oh, I have. How much time we got?
As much as you need.
So, okay, okay, give me some parameters.
Oh God!
No parameters. No parameters.
You can be unrestricted, man.
We were in Atlanta. And we went to a bar right by the hotel after the show, and we were both not in real great moods. A lot going on, and we were just both cranky. And we found out that Scott Steiner, this is like his bar, or he hangs out there, or he knew the owner, whatever it was. This was Scott Steiner's bar, because when we walked in, and of course, as per the usual, Balls would walk in, have his head all taped up from the show. And of course, when you go into a fucking public place, people are like, "Why are you bleeding, sir?" So we went to this bar, and some people knew us because we were just kind of getting a big push at that point. We were competing with WCW at this point. Like, we weren't trailing them. We were up with them, and we were in their area. This was when we were starting to take over WCW stuff, and like, yeah. So when we would do the Atlanta region in the South, we were in WCW land.
Yeah.
So we go to this bar and we find out it's a Scott Steiner hangout. And then Ball starts in with, "Oh, where is he? Where's he gonna let the pussy show up?" And I'm like, "Oh, God damn
Jesus
it."
Christ.
Right. And I'm sitting there with my beer and I'm just like, because, it's like, all right, well, here we go. And, we had college guys who were with their collars up. "Oh, what did you say about Scott Steiner?" "I know Scott Steiner." "Okay, great. Everybody knows Scott Steiner." It's like in Jersey, everybody knows Bam Bam. Terrific. And then that started up a little dust up. And it was honestly, it was unnecessary, but we laughed about it as we're leaving. We're leaving the bar, right? People are still fighting in the bar. And we are leaving. We walked out. And we're going, what the fuck? How did this happen? Fight started pretty much by us. And we walked out of the bar when the fight's still going on when the cops showed up. And we just walked to our rental car and we're leaving as the cops pulled in and we're like, "Oh, cool." So it was kind of one of those, like, that was a turning point in my life when I went, wow, this is awesome. This is, this is pretty awesome, because you could pretty much, now you can do what you want. I get it, how guys can be assholes and just be utter pricks, but yeah, man, I got it, because we can do whatever the fuck we want. We're on TV. And it just felt like that's the vibe that was coming off, because we were winning. We were starting to win. ECW was becoming something. And no joke, I know a lot of people say it, but there was some pride in that. There was a thing back then. Like, that was, like, we worked hard for it. We worked hard to get it. So it was very cool to see, to kind of get a little bit of a celebrity rub about it, because, again, never do you think, even I worked in ECW, great. I know I'm not a household name. I know, like, I can go to anybody on the street and people under the age of 40 will be like, "I don't know who you are." And I'm like, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But at the time, it was a thing that I had a lot of pride in. I really cared about ECW. And I think everybody did. And that's why we did what we did as much and as hard as we did it.
How did you feel when Tommy Rich and Tracy Smothers left ECW and left the FBI to just you and Guido? Were you excited about it being just you and Guido, or
nervous?
How did you feel? You were nervous about it?
Because Tracy was, now again, Tracy is another insane person who, he was a great captain of a ship. And as crazy as he was, he knows what works. The guy's been doing this for a long time, man. He has reinvented himself more times than I can count. And he's always worked. The guy is a staple. You say Tracy Smothers to anybody in the wrestling business, they'll go, "Oh, good guy." Right, everybody you ask will say, "Oh, great guy."
That's why I'm pretty sad to hear what he's going through right now.
Yeah, it's like that's one of those things. It's just like, these guys were invincible. Now, what they're going through now, they're humans, and you're like, oh, fuck. And you just hope, and I know it sounds so fucking lame and it pisses me off, but you really do sit and you kind of hope, and, whatever you believe is a prayer, you give to them, because you want them to be better. You want them to come out of this okay and go on their terms.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing, and I don't know, I'm not trying to be fucking rude about it, but if Tracy wanted to drive his fucking car off a cliff because that's how he wanted to go, then good on him, man. That's how he wanted to go.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see somebody suffer and just deteriorate and dwindle. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm sorry for fucking bringing that down, but
that's okay.
When
it was my fault.
When they got rid of Tommy, it was like, okay, I can take Tommy's place, and again, on a different level. I could do what Tommy was doing. I could do a little bit different. Okay, great. And then when they decided not to bring Tracy back, then it was kind of like, I wasn't sure how I was going to roll.
All right.
So, but I knew, for the most part, Guido's going to be a singles, and we'll do a couple tags, but Guido will do single and he'll do fine. He'll give them a show. and he always did. His skills are amazing. So I had no question about that. My nervousness came from the whole, are we going to do as well as?
Yeah.
Which we did. We wound up
Absolutely.
We wound up doing okay. So that was my concern. But you know, again, you're always your worst critic, and I'm still to this day. It's just one of those things where it's like you always feel like, well, maybe we didn't do as good as I thought, or maybe we could have did better if. So.
Well, I can confirm that you did do well, my friend.
Thanks, man.
Jack, you got some questions lined up next?
What was a typical day like in an ECW locker room? Just to put it simple, I've heard they're wild.
So yes and no.
Depends who it's coming from.
Can it be embellished? Is there some times where it's just a regular day and everyone just works their matches and goes home, or so it's the craziness going on.
Okay, so let's call it a dark day when we didn't have TV going on. We would just go to some show. And this is from my point of view. This exactly things that I did. We'd go to the show. I'd show up. Usually I travel with Balls because we had the Jersey clique who would drive in. It'd be me and Balls and like Dawn Marie. We'd all fly in from Newark because we all lived in the same place. Yeah. And then we would usually drive in. And if I didn't drive with Balls, I drove with like Roadkill, Pat Kenny, Dawn, Danny, and sometimes Amy back when she was there. So we all, those were my friends. Those were the guys I was cool with. So, for example, they have no TV. Paul's not there. Tommy's not there. Or if Tommy might, yeah. So
who's booking?
We'd show up, and it would be everybody else, whoever's running. Like Bill Alfonso was there, and then we had people in the back there were other people to do the job. So Bubba was there. So whatever. But we'd show up, and normal day we'd get up, get there, and whatever time we got there, we got to the building. If I was with Balls, we'd have to go look around, get the hotel first. Have to get the hotel first. Let's go get the hotel first. And if we were with Roadkill or something, we would drive. He always drove. He never flew. He always drove the Roadkill van. And we would stop at Walmart's to go check on all because I don't know if you guys knew this, in different states, they offer you different toys. So the WWE toys they sell in New Jersey and New York will be different from the ones they sell you in Atlanta and Maryland. So really? There would be times when, So if you're a collector, and Roadkill is a collector, we would stop at different Walmarts and Kmarts to find the limited editions that only went to these states. So we would do that. So again, if you look at it, that's really not that crazy. Like that's nothing insane, nothing wacky. Or me and Nova would start ribbing people and calling them inside the building and making them come to the front and do stupid shit just because we had nothing else to do. Hardly anything risque or crazy. That shit usually came at night after the show.
Right.
Depending on where we were, depending on how over we were in the area. Because if we were over, we could do whatever the fuck we wanted. We could have stole a car and shot a nun, and it wouldn't have mattered. But like you go to some places where they don't know us from fucking dog dick, nothing's going to go on. People are going to leave, go to the next town because there's nothing for us there. Clearwater, Jacksonville was like that, where we went to Jacksonville and we were told as we got there, during the show and after the show, get in, do your bit, get dressed, leave. Because apparently the Jacksonville police had a hard-on for us and wanted to just bust any of us.
Shit.
If I remember correct, I can't remember. There was I'm trying to, and again, my apologies for the poor memory. Jack Victory was one of the guys who was just like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And it was a scary thought. Like that hung over our heads the entire time. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. Because who knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, there were definitely weird sex, drugs, and rock and roll moments, I guess. But so like I guess for examples,
Indulge us.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of like the time. So okay, and this is just a personal thing. We were at a hotel, and it was some kind of, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Missouri. We played at a minor league hockey rink, River Dogs or something. Anyway, regardless of that, we're at a hotel, and I got a little intoxicated, and my card wouldn't work in the door, so I kicked the door in,
Oh, no.
and it wasn't my room.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so the Asian couple that was in there were very nice, and I apologized to them over and over. And I said, I'm very sorry. I thought, and I don't know why I said this. I go, I thought this is my room. My baby is in the room alone. I don't know. And they were like, oh, no problem. So we left the hotel that night. We got out of the hotel that night. But again, it's just one of those situations of, yeah, I don't know. You're stupid. I'm stupid. We're all stupid. We've all done stupid things.
Yeah, of course. Certainly
So,
human.
Yeah.
Talking about
yeah,
sort of. No, sorry, continue.
No. I
Oh.
was just going to say, it's just, yeah.
Talking about doing stupid things, was there any sort of crazy moments with, say, someone like Sandman or New Jack, for example? I mean, of course, I'm sure there's probably countless.
Life is one stupid moment. Well, again, like now I know New Jack's, he's got some fame back, some popularity, huge push now with the Vice thing.
Yep.
But that was the thing. That was him. That's what he did. And he knew he can get away with whatever the fuck he wanted to.
Yep.
Because, you act crazier than everyone else and everybody freaks out. Yeah. So again, like, I don't know. I've never had, I'm trying to think of I had my big altercation with New Jack was, it's 5:00 in the morning and I want to go to sleep. And him and Balls Mahoney and Jazz are driving around, and I want to go to bed. I'm driving because I'm obviously the only sober one. So I'm driving and I want to go to sleep. So I had to tell him, fuck off. Let's go. I'm going back to the hotel. Like this, I'm done. And he got loud and yelled at me. And then like 10 seconds later, he ran over and he goes, oh, man, I'm sorry. And he hugs me and he fucking like punched me and he laughed. And then we laughed about it. Okay, great. So like that's been my biggest altercation of crazy with New Jack. And I got to see him go wild and beat the shit out of people. I've got to see him literally do enough drugs to kill an army. But that was him. That's how he wanted to do his shit. And he did. And he always said, he goes, I want to work with you. I have a program we can do where we ain't got to do shit. And he always told me this all the time. He's like, we wouldn't do shit. You would hit me once, I would run around the ring selling it in 20 minutes. And he goes, we would do that night after night. And he goes, I'll hit you with a garbage can. I won't even hit you with anything hard. I'll hit you with a garbage can. We'll call it a night. I'm like, yeah, we're fine. I'll do that. Let's do it. And yeah, it was just one of those things he would tell me every night. He would say it to me every fucking night. But yeah, I never had heat with him. Never had a problem with him. He did what he wanted to do. Fuck it. Sandman I can't understand how he's still alive.
Neither.
I don't get it. I personally think he died in 2002, and nobody's told him yet. We were at a Legends convention in Philly, and I saw this corpse on a table, and I went, "Oh my God, they're doing an autopsy!" And it was the Sandman laying down. And I went over and I asked him for an autograph, and he said, "Yeah, it's $10. Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, can I have it? Could you make it out to the Sandman sucks?" He looks up and he said, "Yo, all right, cool, man, you got it. It only took you 20 minutes to realize it's me, you moron." So, yeah, I don't. again, I'm not. I don't. I guess you could tell I'm not a big. I've never really used any drugs. I've never done any of that, and I never understood the guys who were so over, who were risking a lot doing that shit. Never understood it. Just never did to me. Never caught on to me. Never once came to me. And then when I hear people say how, oh, it's a tragedy. No, it's not. It was an avoidable tragedy. If you're going to drive with your eyes closed and you kill a family of 6, that is an avoidable fucking tragedy. So I really, there are people that I do feel for when they get hooked up in drugs. Guys like Scott Hall, guys like, like PJ, like Justin, and, guys like that. I feel bad for them because they had it all.
Yeah.
But it was avoidable, and I'm not going to cry over you, and I'm not going to fake say, oh man, because there are people who loved you and wanted to help you anyway. They wanted to be there for you, and you fucked it. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for guys who have thrown away careers on drugs. That being said, I've seen a lot of people use them. I've seen a lot of people do them, and it's kind of like, all right, well, hopefully you'll smarten up. Hopefully you'll stop.
Yeah. On the 16th of April 2000, ECW Hardcore TV in St. Charles, Missouri, you and Guido take on Doring and Roadkill, and you wrestle them quite a lot with house shows that followed.
Our favorite.
Had a good time with Doring and Roadkill. I mean, it looked like they were fun to work with.
I love those guys to death. I'm still like, those guys are those I love every time. That is my favorite match. Any match with Danny and Roadkill was amazing. Like, hands down, it was always great. We always had fun. We always, just because we're friends. Like, I'm still friends with Danny and Roadkill. I talk to those guys daily. And it's just, I don't know. There are certain people you just click with.
Yeah.
The first person I met at ECW was Meanie and Nova. And that was in New Orleans. They were the first guys, and Mikey Whipwreck. Those were the first 3 guys in the locker room who talked to me. And again, it was Meanie and Nova. I'm still good friends with. Always clicked with them. And Mikey, never had an issue with Mikey. Mikey's always been awesome. So there are certain people you just click with, and then there are people that you can just, on a cold, like, just boom, like that. And Danny and Roadkill are 2 of those guys who you could, like, right now, if they were to show up and people were to go, okay, you have to do a match right now, go. We could, because we could just flow with with each other. We just took care of each other. Nobody, well, aside from Guido's stiff boots. Guido's been known to throw some heavy-footed boots in. Danny will constantly attest to that. But yeah, that's. But the thing with me and Roadkill love playing off each other. Roadkill loved jumping, and I could catch him. I was able to crash pad him. So he loved doing that stuff, and I loved doing it because it always looked amazing. It always looked really great.
He was great.
So
he was great.
Yep.
Also around this time, Tony Mameluke joins the FBI, fresh off his stint in WCW, which he wasn't in WCW very long for what he was doing there. And then all of a sudden he's in ECW. How do you feel he fit into the group, and was that a fun trio to have as the 2000 FBI?
So the first time that he came, they really gave us no warning, and didn't know he was going to actually stick around. Didn't know he was going to be there. And they threw him with us. And I was a little like, the fuck is this? I was kind of a little like, what? We just got our thing going. Like,
because when I think about it, because I've seen his whole WCW run, he didn't even wrestle on TV. So all of a sudden, now
I had no idea who he was. And when he came to that show and they put us together, and he cost us the match, and then I throw him into the crowd. Okay. So, like, I honestly didn't give it another thought. Like I'm like, whoever this kid is, fuck him. I don't, I took care of him. I didn't hurt him, but like, I knew we had to do what we had to do, and okay, great. I didn't give it a second thought. He became one of the most invaluable people I've ever worked with. He is amazing. He was nothing but heart. Like, and that kid, man, he's still to this day. We just did a show just last year, I think it was, up in Rome, New York.
Yeah. And
he couldn't walk. He's so broken.
Really?
And he's gotten better, but he doesn't give up. This dude, with his fucked up as he was, he took a train because he lives in the city. He took a train to get to Rome, New York. We picked him up. They picked him up at the station, got him to the show. He was going to do a show. He couldn't stand up straight, and he was willing to do a show.
Shit.
Jesus.
An indie show of all things. And I'm not shitting on indie shows. I'm just saying because he was back with me and Guido. We were doing a bit. So he wanted to do it. So this all came about, and he never, like, this would be the dude who you'd have to kill to get him to stay down.
Yeah.
You'd literally have to put a bullet through his head because he would just keep getting up. And I admire the fuck out of him. He is also, I get random texts from like about wacky shit, which is hysterical, but he is honestly, he was just one of the most invaluable people in that group in that time.
You needed
and
him
he was
in 2000.
talented as fuck. He was talented as fuck.
It helped the FBI in 2000 then to...
Absolutely.
Speaking of 2000, I want to talk about your ECW pay-per-view in-ring debut, as you mentioned earlier, against Balls Mahoney in Los Angeles, Heatwave. You pick up the win in that match. You must have been pretty stoked to get on pay-per-view.
Oh yeah. That was a that pay-per-view was amazing.
Yeah, I was going to ask, obviously, the incident that took place that day and what you saw and heard of it with XPW.
Let's see. I don't know if I know everybody's friends now. I know everybody at ECW has worked for fucking Rob Black and everybody else, XPW. I don't know what the deal is. But excuse me. That day we were, so everybody on high alert because we were told XPW is going to show up and fuck with the show.
Oh my God. What were they thinking?
This was our first time in LA. My first time in LA too. This was amazing. This was going to be a big deal. And we get to the show, and we had got warned before the show, which was, an odd thing. Usually people will wait till you get to the building just out of convenience. But we were getting warnings before the show that XPW is going to come and fuck with the show. All right. So Balls is already worked. He's already worked up.
Oh, God.
He's getting all he's already getting wound up. So now I'm talking to him because now we're driving up and down, Hollywood Boulevard, because we were being marks. We were taking pictures of shit. Me and Balls drove into Compton to get pictures with Figueroa, the Figueroa sign, and like just to see where the swap meets were and where Boys in the Hood were shot. And so we were in Compton driving around, and of course, T-top down, fucking ridiculous. Two idiot white guys in Compton driving around, getting out, taking fucking pictures of street signs. So he was already worked up, and that I was a little concerned now. I'm like, all right, so I'm getting a little worked up too. And then I think we started to feed off each other a little bit, getting a little bit more worked up. So we got to the venue, and everybody was kind of like on edge. We all looked around. We don't see anybody. Paul comes in the back, and he starts his. And let me say this again, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Jim Jones Heyman. He gave us, again, have you guys ever seen that movie? Yeah.
The big
and
speech.
he gives the speech.
Yeah.
Right.
So inspirational.
Now imagine that. Right. Now imagine that. But the end goal of this speech is to go kill people. And that was his deal. He gave us a speech and told us somebody's here to take what's ours. Somebody's here to ruin what we've built. Somebody's here to make us look like fools. And he went through this whole big thing, and we're all like, yeah. And then he did his gimmick, and he turned his fucking hat around, and he said, "Let's go stop him." And we went, "Oh shit!" So we're ready, right? Now everyone is like, and is waiting. Everybody is vibrating. One of the shows going on, match goes on. Nothing really happened. There was a couple now and then, something going on, just man, no big deal. And then during the Just Incredible Tommy Dreamer match, allegedly one of the guys reached over, pinched Franny's ass. And you can see on the pay-per-view that the camera goes, oh, like straight off, because everybody piled out of the locker room. Everybody piled out of the locker room and was coming down the aisle at the pay-per-view because we were just waiting.
You're live on pay-per-view.
Jeez.
Yeah. And the camera went down, and then Joey Styles, there seems to be a rowdy drunk fan in the audience. And you never saw, if you were watching at home, you never saw anything. You didn't see anything. You saw a little ruckus, so that you saw the curtain fly open because a bunch of the boys ran out. So as Dreamer told us, he said, he was in the ring, and he said, go back. We all went back. As we all went back, Paul was waiting on the other side of the curtain. And he goes, come on. And we all followed him out the front.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Shit.
Here we
And
go.
there we were. There they were. They were standing across the street. And I think this might have been a part of the funny of it. So the security guards shut the doors and kept the fans inside, which was pretty funny. We came down the steps, and they were across the street, and their limo was there, and they had a couple cars there, and they were standing across the street like, we're not on your property, ha, ha, ha.
That's not going to stop yous.
Yeah, we ran across the street and beat the shit out of them. There was just, I think they were kind of like, wait, you're not supposed to do that. And we had just crossed the street, and according to Rob Black, we beat up their ring crew.
Right.
Just their ring crew and a couple girls. So I guess so. But a lot of their ring crew looked like some of their main staple, but I don't know. Who am I?
Why would their ring crew be there? Wouldn't they just buy the tickets for the Messiah and all those types of guys that were apparently
But I guess
there?
the ring crew, but the ring crew had the limo, I guess. I don't know. All I know is the guys who were out in front were the guys who I would consider the heart of ECW.
Yeah.
It got crazy. It was awesome. Like I enjoyed it. Got to let loose, man. There was no holding back on people and just hitting them. And guys like Mameluke, he was right next to me. I watched him. I was with him. And guys like Jack Victory was out there. And they were leveling people, man. Jack Victory was hockey punching people. It was great. But, people, Roadkill, right out there with me. And we were all doing it. And it was great. And I turned around. I remember seeing this. I turned around and I saw New Jack.
Oh, no. They're fucked now.
New Jack was on crutches. He had a broken foot, and he was on crutches, and he was going, come on, motherfucker. And he was screaming at people. And he dropped the one crutch, and he was waiting. He was going to hit people with his fucking crutches. And it was a situation, but we all went back inside. The cop showed up. And again, I will always, to the end of time, give props to referee Mike Keener, possibly for keeping me out of jail, and Devon, because it was the moment. You get caught up in the
Yeah.
moment. You guys ever get in a fight and you just start you fucking hitting everybody. You didn't give a fuck. And I turn around and there was a cop. I see a cop and he looks at me and he fucking dropped it. He pulled his stick out. He did his little zip stick and I went, oh yeah. And
Oh shit.
Devon and Mike Keener got in front of me. They were like, hey. And I was like, yeah, I'm here. What happened? And I realized I was like, oh. And I said, sorry, I was sorry. We all went inside. We went inside and Paul just
pay-per-view still going, smile. Right?
Yo, pay-per-view still going on. Yeah. We weren't out there long.
And
we
Paul's
were not
smiling.
out there long. He's smiling and he said, and he was so happy. And to this day, there's been people who's told me that he set that up. Him and Rob Black set that up.
Bullshit.
And I'm like, even if they did, those guys got fucking beaten for no fucking reason.
100%.
You know? And I'm talking, some guys got hit hard, man. There was some hurt going on. And if you're willing, if you did that and you got set up for it, well, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of people pulling out their phones for shit these days as soon as something's happening so they can sue someone.
I hate it.
But in this instance, I wish someone had a phone that could record so we could all see what actually happened that day in the streets of fucking Los Angeles.
So then I'm trying to remember after that, then it was Rob Black came out on some sort of a wrestling sheet and he called me out, said I was a pussy. I was like, all right. Then I saw him in the airport and he ran from me. So good for him. But that's, I'm a big pussy and whatever. And I beat up his ring crew. But aside from that, it was, those were the guys that's what we did. We did that because we were duped into doing it. we were led down that road because there was no other ending except that. That day, there was no other ending.
Before this all happened, what was the general consensus of Rob Black and XPW?
I had worked with him actually. Lizzie Borden. When I first came to ECW, I worked with her, and I worked with Rob Black. We were in a group together.
Yeah.
So I had no heat with him. I also enjoyed. I loved filmmaking, even adult films. I enjoy the writing and everything of it. I enjoy the whole process. So I had no issue. I had no problem with him. I just didn't, I was like, okay, cool. But then when this all came about, at first I was like, oh, well, it's a rival. So what? Who cares? They're XPW. They're
on
copying
the other side
us
of the
immediately.
country.
Right. And not only that, but they're doing what we did. So good for them.
Yeah.
But then it became a rivalry where now they kept talking shit, and it became a shit talk thing. And I was like, okay. And again, you know what? I don't have time to debate you. I'll just punch you in the face.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I don't want to sit down and have a discussion with you. I'd just rather break your nose and call it a day. So I was okay with it.
Awesome. Do you have any memories of ECW's issues with TNN?
Honestly, we got invited to a couple of dinner luncheons or something where we had to go meet people. And, again, I feel like this was might have been a setup for failure because you invited the Dawn Maries and the Lance Storms and the respectable people. And then you invited me and Balls and Jack OV and stuff. This wasn't our thing. But you want to introduce them to the company. You want them to see all of it because I'm sure there's a bit of a freak factor that you have to involve in this. Okay, hey, look what we're bringing you. We're bringing you a fucking caveman and some fucking giant mutant. It's like, oh, forget the fact that he's eating out of the garbage. That's fine. I would just automatically go back to, we went to in New York City at Roseland, Roseland Ballroom. We were invited to a show. No, it was Roseland Ballroom, I think.
Okay.
So we went to a Limp Bizkit show, and
yeah.
for sale open for them. And we were
fuck
downstairs,
yeah.
and we were in the back, and we're talking with Be Real, and they just threw catering out. They threw all the catering into the garbage that was sitting right on top of the garbage. And Balls went, "Oh, they fucking got rid of the garbage. What kidding me?" And he fucking ate.
Yeah, there's a
Smack-
garbage.
He and macaroni salad the guards. And Be Real is going. He's just staring at him, and I go, "How fucked up is it that this guy's probably high off his ass, and he's watching this caveman eat out of a garbage can, as if the people who threw that shit out were the wrong ones. They were wrong for throwing it out before he got to it." So yeah, that's I always think of that. And I always laugh at Be Real's face. Just he was just so confused about what's happening. Is this real? But yeah, we went to a couple TNN like dinner things or lunch things, meet and greets, and say hi to executives. It's boring. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I don't know what they expected, but we went there and we shook hands and took dumb pictures with them and their stupid kids. And I'm like, they do realize this is probably not for kids, right? Like, they want to get pictures with Sandman. They're going to let their fucking 11-year-old son stand with the Sandman. I'm like, really? Your kid's probably fucking contact high off of standing next to him. Like, you realize, like, this isn't the show for an 11-year-old, but it's what they want. And then they just fucked everything up anyway.
Were they using ECW as a just to test the waters for wrestling before trying to get the WWF on
Yeah,
TNN?
we were a placeholder. That's a placeholder.
Bullshit. It's such bullshit. They never even gave it a chance.
Well, it's just you know what it is. It's the girl who's saving herself for marriage, so she's not going to sleep with you because we're not going to get married. So you're the placeholder. So that's how that is, and that's all we were. We were the girl. We were never going to get their virginity, so we were just a placeholder.
Well said. Jack, what have you got?
During the mid-2000s, could you tell Paul Heyman was getting slowly burnt out and that the end for ECW would be nearing?
Nope.
Not even a...
Nope, because here's the thing. He's the devil, but he is a brilliant businessman.
Yep.
And I've made this joke before, and we all have made this joke because he's made us all the same promise. He told us on phone calls, like, if I call you, Jack, and you don't know me worth shit, but if I called you and I said, "Listen, Jack, no matter what happens in your career, no matter what you do, I will always work with you 100%. Yep. I will make sure you are by my side, or I am by your side to help you out in any way you need, Jack." You'd be like, "Fuck, man, thank you." And then to be like completely blindsided and be left somewhere with nothing. And you're just like, well, no. He promised me. He told me.
Yeah.
So if I need something, I can call him. And, it's one of those things where I've never had to call Paul and be like, "Paul, do you think you can help me?" Like, I've never had to do that, thankfully. But it was a situation of I watched things come and go, and then I'm like, that's just not, that's a direct opposite of what he said he was going to do.
Yep.
Right. So he never showed his hand. There was never, "Oh, well, Paul looks tired." Yeah, Paul looks tired because Paul would stay up until 6 a.m. editing shows or doing whatever, and then come in and do this and that and the other thing. And, he was no saint. He did his deal. He stayed up late, whether working on the show or not. That's how I'll leave that one. But, so, like, if he looked a little ragged around the edges, you were like, all right, part of the lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah. Just sort of Paul being Paul. And
then to find out later on that there was this collusion with Vince and Paul, and everybody knew, there was that thing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that one. Vince and Paul
they had a deal going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was.
I found out about that in Paul's documentary that came out.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever heard of it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have no idea."
Yeah, we all knew that, but nobody had proof. So it was little more than a conspiracy theory for a lot of us that can never get proven. because we had no way to investigate further, and nobody wanted to really, because who wants to find out you've been lied to this whole time?
Yeah.
Here we were being told with no money, we're struggling. Meanwhile, there was a lot of money being funneled in. There's a lot of money being spent.
Apparently, Shane McMahon was hoping to take over ECW at one stage.
Mm-hmm. But again, it's one of those things where you're like, I don't want to believe it, so I don't want to research it. I don't want to look any deeper. I don't want to dig. I don't want to poke that bear. I just want to, what we had was good, and let's leave it at that. It was a kick in the balls. It was 2001 or 2, and when we got hey, we're going to take a hiatus. That doesn't sound right. That definitely doesn't sound right.
And we'll get to that, Sal.
Okay, sorry, man.
That's okay. Got to keep with the timeline of what we're going on with here.
Please, yeah.
Jack, next question, my friend.
Sort of winding it back a little bit, just sort of to the having the money funneled in. So obviously, there was some bit of sneaky suspicions going around the locker room from some stories I've heard, read, other interviews, things like that. There, a lot of guys were owed money from Paul. Some that were paid, some never paid. Were you ever sort of one of those guys that had any issues?
Yep. And it was always one of the, hey, you know what? He'll get to it.
And that would make sense as to why you don't want to really research into more of it and look into more of it.
Because now if I have to find out that I'm never going to get that money, I'm never going to get that handout again, that handout, whatever you call it. I worked for it. So, it was one of those things where it's like, shit, the higher ups had a lot more, they were more involved than we were. And I was never higher up, but we all had our inklings, and those guys would tell us, guys would say, hey, look, this something doesn't seem right.
Yeah, of course.
So
did you sort of have any post-wrestling plans in place if sort of ECW was to go under in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of just go back to doing, movies, maybe do some writing for them and, things like that. And I did it for a few, and then wound up having surgery on my back. The first time I had spinal surgery, got hardware put in, and that was the first of 3. So, had that done. But at that point, it was a situation of my wrestling, what am I going to do? I wound up traveling to Louisville.
Yep.
For no other reason than change of scenery, and I knew a few people out there. And then wound up going, hanging out over at OVW. And I loved their productions, what they were doing there. And again, they were the farm league at the time. They were the unofficial farm league for WWE.
Yeah.
Well, not to say unofficial, but I loved seeing that level of production. I liked that. To me, that reminded me of the 80s again.
Yeah.
It was, go ahead.
No, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, that was what they were doing. They were doing the small arena, the NWA style.
So what NWA Power today is.
Right, what they went back to. Exactly, studio wrestling. And that's what this was. And the people that were there were the regulars, locals, that they'd come to the show every week. And, it became a thing. So Wednesday nights, that's, we do the tapings and everything. And then we would do the vignettes and everything. I watched that. And it was just great. It was great. It was great again. And I said, this is amazing what they had going on.
Around that time, did you have any contact from the WWE?
Oh yeah. Well, I was became friends with, I had been friends with Al Snow for a while.
Yep.
And I was, I lived right by them. So, and then again, got to see people I haven't seen in a while. And Nova would come down for the trainings, and Punk would come down, stuff like that. And I'd see these guys, and okay. And I had some contact in and out, but I didn't want to go back to wrestling. I didn't want to wrestle again. I kind of wanted to do more maybe the writing, maybe the TV part of it.
Yep.
That was my kind of driving goal, and I wound up in Louisville just doing other like independent film stuff because that was really an interest to me, horror, doing horror and stuff like that. So I kind of was over wrestling, but at the same time, OVW reinvigorated my love of 80s wrestling. And then following up that DCW, which was Derby City Wrestling, which was another offshoot they had of OVW. That was just, they would do it at the racetracks and stuff, and they would do house shows. And it was all to get these guys better.
Yep.
So I don't know, like I did like that, but like I said, I kind of just didn't have any desire to go back into the ring as much as I thought I might have. Because that was one of the things I said, oh, maybe I'll do that. And I just wasn't interested as much.
Sort of winding back the clock to back in your time at ECW, do you ever feel the FBI got their due in ECW? Did Guido deserve to win a TV title? Or
yes.
You guys win the tag
absolutely. Title? We did win the tag title, which was cool, but I really feel like Guido should have got a bigger push. And
he was always putting other people over. He was always like that guy
constantly.
that was there, like if someone was on their way up to another spot. I too feel like, Guido deserved to, be spotlighted
Definitely.
at least for, 4 or 5 months
he was,
at one stage.
Yeah.
What do they call it now? Not supplemental. Enhancement talent. They don't call them jobbers anymore. Now they're called enhancement talent. But I always felt like he should have gotten a bigger push. The thing is, Guido needed a mouthpiece.
Yep.
I got to be that mouthpiece. And when they let me talk, that was always a rib. That was always like some fun shit, like me and Dreamer. I'd come up and go, listen, I got a huge promo. And he'd go, no. So, but he would always listen to me. And they'd say, no. And the thing was, they were busy getting other guys over. They were busy, spending the 20 minutes on an RVD promo.
Yeah.
And I, again, not bitter shit at them. They did their job, man. They were good at what they did. But our show, if you watch our show, it's like, it's very compact.
Yeah.
We had he had this promo, you had a match, there was no room for extra.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. Like there was zero room for extra, and if you just that was it. I always felt, and I said I had a talk with Paul at one point about Guido. I said, I feel like I don't want to hold him back either. So, but at that point now we had gotten Tony, and now there was a tag team. So it was a situation of now I actually like Tony, so I don't want to screw this up either.
Yep.
So now it's like, how do you say, well, this guy needs a push, or this guy should do more. How about this for an idea? How about that? And I don't want to screw up what we have going on, and where they go, oh, well, you're not happy with what you're doing. Well, fuck you then.
Yep.
Because that's everybody's fear. Everybody's fear is to lose their spot. That's why people say it's kind of hard to make friends in this business, because everybody's always afraid of losing their spot. Some new kid shows up, and if he looks better than you, or has a better gimmick, or does something different, you're always kind of like, well, whose spot's he going to take? Everybody's heat with the new kid. Yeah, to me, there was just a point of, you want to keep your head down. You want to try to do better. You want to try to impress them. You want to make everybody happy. And that, especially Guido. Guido wanted to make everybody happy. He still does. He always wants to make sure is that okay? Was that all right? You okay with that? You guys good? So
sounds like such a good guy.
He is. He really is. And like I said, he's a little manic, but it's pretty good.
I'll jump in here.
Yeah.
The 11th of August 2000, ECW on TNN features yourself, Tony, and Guido in a 6-man against Michael Whipwreck, Psychosis, and Tajiri. Hell of a match here. From what my research tells me, this is the first time that there's an actual 6-man tag with the three of you on television. Is this a fond memory for you? I mean, geez,
I'll be honest.
What great opponents? Whipwreck, Psychosis, and Tajiri.
I couldn't tell you specifically what happened in that match because I worked with Mikey and Tajiri and Super Crazy so much that it's all one long match.
One big blur.
One big match.
I just thought it was worth mentioning because it was a 6-man and that hadn't happened very often with the three of you.
With us, yeah.
At least on television.
Well, that was the thing. Like we did that a few times. We've done that a few times. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm literally trying to remember the match so I can give you some kind of was there a cool story? But again, I don't remember if this was the same one. We used to fuck around so much. Tajiri did a dive. It might have been the 6-man because we had that many people. It might have been a dive on a dive sort of thing. Like first, Psychosis, then Tajiri. But at one point, we're all in a big crash pad on the floor, and I'm on the bottom, of course. And Tajiri always had this thing, and I would always tell him, I used to say, make a joke that Tajiri would speak perfect English when he was around other people. He would speak perfect English, but then when you get around us, he'd be like, "Oh no," and so I always goofed around. He was a super super cool guy too. I loved him. So we're on the floor, and his ass was in my face. And I just remembered Iron Mike Sharp in the locker room at one point, and Howard Finkel jamming his thumb up Iron Mike Sharp's ass. And at that point, I got it. Tajiri I just jammed my finger up Tajiri's ass, and he screamed. And it was on pay-per-view, and you could actually just hear the ee because he did it. And I asked him, I said, "Why would you scream like that?" He goes, I just never understood it. But yeah, so any chance I got, I would flick his nutsack or I'd fucking jam my thumb up his ass, and he would just scream, and he would just go yee for no reason, and I don't know why he kept making that noise. And then, like, to me, like, those doing that or telling Super Crazy would go to jump, and I would turn like I wasn't going to catch him, and he would get nervous and hold up, and I'm like, just like, and I remember these things because the camera was never on me. The camera was always on Super Crazy, so I would be like, and look away or something, and he would be like, so I remember little shit like that, but if like you were to tell me, or Mikey would say something to me that would make me fucking laugh, I'd pop and I'd have to put my head down, or I would have to turn away or something. And those are the things I remember. And people would say, "Oh, well, what was your favorite thing?" I don't have a favorite part because I worked with these guys so much. There was always something that made me laugh or made me smile, and that's the stuff that I remember.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I apologize for not being able to.
That's okay.
Being like, "Oh, this match was great," but I feel like it was every night. So they were great. They were all great at separate points. Because it was basically the same match.
The 11th of November 2000. This is a match that I just watched last night. An ECW house show in Poughkeepsie, and you wrestled Scott Hall.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I want to know your memories of that day and getting to work with Scott Hall, and the fact that you went over, and so it's on YouTube.
We showed up. Showed up to Poughkeepsie. Love Poughkeepsie. So Poughkeepsie was always a great time. We would go to, unfortunately, I can't remember the name of this guy's store. Guy had a game store, and we would go to the game store and we'd hang out there and play with his fucking toys and video games. And it was just one of those situations where I had a great time, got to the building. Now, Poughkeepsie, believe it or not, was where I had my dark match. It wasn't mine. I was there with Larry Briscoe. Not that Larry Briscoe, the one from Johnny Rods' School. Larry Briscoe had his tryout for WWE, and I went with him. Johnny sent us, and I had it in Poughkeepsie in 1990. I was saying 1991. It might have been like my 3 months into the business. So it was just one of those things where, Poughkeepsie was always, I always enjoyed it, always liked it. And we get to the building, and we're just going through our normal shit, getting dressed, getting ready. And Dreamer comes up and goes, I don't know why, but Scott Hall wants to work with you. So I was like, all right. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
fucking
does he?
cool, man. I don't.
I
give a
blew
shit.
it off.
That's fucking cool.
I was like, meh, blew it off. So then I see Scott Hall, and I'm like, hey, man. Hey, nice to meet you again. Because I met him once before. And he's like, hey, man, how you doing, brother? Great, cool. Nice to meet you. He says, brother, I got an idea. I want to work with you. I said, sure, whatever you want to do. And, again, you're the vet. You tell me what you want to do, because, I'm down for whatever you got. So, and I'm waiting to hear, you're going to do this, going to do this. And I kept thinking, I'm going, how am I going to get up for a razor's edge? And I'm like, is he going to do it from the top rope? I'm like, fuck. I never took that kind of bump, but all right, I'll do it. And he said, so this is what we'll do, brother. We'll go in, and then you go over. And I'm like, sorry, what? And I was, have you been drinking? Well, he has, but okay. And I was like, shit, are you serious? And he said, yeah, man, yeah, let's do this. I think it'll be great. And I was like, thank you. And I just shook his hand. I said, all right. And he was so super cool. He was so chill with me. Had a great time, in the back. We're getting ready. All right, brother, you got this to be easy. We'll make it nice and easy. We'll go out, be sweet. It'll be good. No. And I have to admit, like, this was a moment. There's two points in Poughkeepsie. One was my dance off with Bubba, which it's so funny, but that, and then I wrestled, worked with Scott Hall. And when I went over, the crowd was split. Half the crowd hated it, but I was surprised at how many liked it. And that was, for me, I was just like, wow, that's something. Like, wow.
Yeah. I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh, Scott's surely winning this because he's going to wrestle Justin later on.
Right. And he was,
I'm like, oh, shit.
he was still part of the NWO. It was all the whole thing. So I was like, outsiders, man, there's no way I'm going over in Scott Hall. I didn't even consider it. But I couldn't believe the fans that were for it, and they liked it. So I was like, hey, man, that's cool. And to me, like, that was just all right, cool. Yeah. And the same thing. And then I got to do with Bubba. I did a dance off with Bubba, and people popped for it. And I was just like, all right, maybe they don't hate me as much as I think they do. So it was kind of cool.
It would have been cool to actually see what would have happened with Scott Hall if he ended up signing with the company. I guess that just didn't pan out.
No.
During this time, the ECW's deal with TNN is over. What was the locker room reaction to no longer being on that network and now just doing hardcore TV again?
Partial relief, because we didn't have to worry about anything. We could do whatever the fuck we wanted. But also there was kind of a little bit of well, what the hell does that mean for us? We were supposed to be something big. Now that's gone away. So now what? Are we not getting raises? Are we not getting bonuses? Are we not getting coverage? So it was a little bit of trepidation from everybody. And but at the same time, it was kind of like, good, fuck them. That sort of thing. Yeah.
I want to fast forward a little bit to January 13th, 2001, ECW's house show in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. It's Danny Doring and Tommy Dreamer against the FBI. It's the last ECW show of the authentic, real ECW. Just start me from the beginning of your day to the end of your day. Did you know that it was the last show at the beginning of the day?
No. Nope.
And
we did not.
When did you find out that it would be the last show?
Technically, a few weeks later. We're taking a hiatus. Kind of like, huh? That doesn't sound right.
No.
Especially even Christmas and New Year's and shit. We still worked. So now we're taking a hiatus. That doesn't
Especially with
seem-
ACW being pretty hot in the
Yes,
places that you
yeah.
still worked in. Like, why would you have to take a
we could still we could
hiatus?
still draw, and then now all of a sudden we're taking a hiatus. So it's like, huh. But it was a situation where we all had faith. We thought something. We expected all of us to think the worst, and Paul was going to pull something out of his ass.
Right.
And all of a sudden, things were going to just be different. All of a sudden, something was going to come that we were like, "Oh, cool, this happened." He's just ribbing us. He's dragging it out. He's making us, fucking want what's going to happen. Because it wouldn't be above him to do it. To be like, "Oh, guys, we're going to have to cut the budget." And you're like, "Oh shit!" And then all of a sudden, we get a pay-per-view bonus. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, I wasn't a higher up, so I didn't. Maybe people knew before I did. I found out probably a week or two later when we got the calls of, "We're going to take a break, and we're not scheduling any house shows." And it's like, wait, what? So how are we making money?
Yeah.
What's going on? So yeah, that was it was bittersweet. Looking back, it's like shit. But if anything, it makes you go into that whole, live every day like it's your last sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
who knows what tomorrow is.
So at that show, there was like a beer bash in the ring at the end. Was there? You really did not know that it was over?
Again, I think it might have been one of those things where you're like, I don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
no, this is, again, maybe this is something leading to something else.
Right. Okay.
So it's sort of treated as like business as usual.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is
Okay.
just something different we're doing today.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jack, what have you got?
So obviously there would have been so much uncertainty around that time. And WCW was also not far off closing. I believe you would have answered this also before, but what did you do with yourself next? Pretty much as soon as ECW was closing the doors, WCW was no longer available. So there's only one place to go.
Yeah, tell us when you found out it was actually done.
Oh, when we found out it was done, it was just like, wow, kind of a kick in the dick. But it wasn't long after that I had actually was filming a movie called Martin and Orloff in Chelsea, in New York. So I was filming that with, and so I guess it was just one of those situations of I was doing something else and I said, okay, when it comes back, it comes back. So it was kind of like just going back to what I was doing in the indie days.
Yep.
It was a situation of I'll work until I need to go do something else, and then I'll go do a show. And then if I need to do something else, I'll do something else.
Yep.
And at that point I had a couple connections where I was getting acting gigs and I was doing, I was able to do some writing stuff for people. And I guess, so I was enjoying that for a little bit. And it was just kind of like one of those things of like, I'm just hoping that this isn't for real.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that any day now we're going to get a call, and then I would talk with other boys, some of the other boys, and be like, what's going on with this? And they're like, oh, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Fuck.
So being told you're on hiatus was essentially the, hey, we're done. This is it. Goodbye.
Right. But nobody says, I would rather they say, hey, this is the end, but nobody ever said it.
It sucks you guys didn't get your closure or, your proper final show, where you could have, settled all the proper feuds, just one match, everyone just sort of goes out there and, sends it for one last time. It sucks that you guys never got that.
And it's funny because everybody did it in their own way. Like I know we did a charity show for Francine.
We'll get to
After
that.
One.
Get to that.
Okay.
Sorry,
I didn't realize you guys had that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got that one written down.
Yep.
Keep going, Jack. The next
one.
one's very interesting, and I actually got this answer from Sal when I first messaged him on Facebook a long time ago, because I could never figure out what was going on. But Jack, take it away.
Well, speaking of, sort of reunion shows and stuff you guys did, there was, of course, the infamous, well, I think it's famous for a good reason, Ecw One-Night Stand 2005, June 12th in New York at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Super Crazy defeated Little Guido, and there was all the FBI reunion, but you weren't there. Oh, and he also defeated Tajiri in there. But why weren't you there for that, the FBI reunion?
At that one, I want to say I was laid up. I had gotten, I have spinal stenosis. And that was, I think, at the first point where I was just bedridden for, I think it was like a good week or two, that I couldn't, between the sciatica and spinal stenosis, I was destroyed. And I had gotten a call. Dreamer had asked me to do a couple of shows, and I said, I really can't. Like, I just don't. I would love to. I just can't.
Yeah.
To a point of like, I couldn't even do a run in.
Were those the appearances on Raw that you were missing out on due to this injury?
Oh shit.
Fuck, man.
Because like at One Night Stand, you've got Big Guido, JT Smith, Tony Mameluke, Tracy Smothers. All that's missing is the Big Don and yourself.
Funny story about Big Guido. I wrestled him in my local when I was, when I told you guys I was fresh out of high school doing local shows. He was Mike Fury, and I worked with him. And I remember that he was, let's just say, he was not nice to a new kid. A bit of a prick. And then years later, when he came looking for a job at ECW, I was like, you know what? Whatever, man. This guy needs to live too. And I was like, yeah, let's get him on board.
Yep.
So it was like one of those things where I just, you look back and you're just like, wow. But yeah, I see, especially now, like every now and then people say, oh, FBI, and then they show me pictures like Hito and this other Johnny Gargle lit up or whatever the fuck his name was. And I'm like, I don't know who they are. But like, because to me, that's not FBI. It was never FBI.
Yeah.
And Hito does his thing, but I just, it's not the same.
So in 2006 as well, at the second One Night Stand, again, FBI with Big Guido, took on some crazy Tajiri. Second year in a row with no Big Sal. Was that another injury or same deal?
I'm trying to remember that pay-per-view, why I didn't.
Because that one was Guido and Tony Mameluke tagging together.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. If that might have been, if I already had my first spinal surgery at that point, first or second at that point, that I couldn't make, I was like, I'm not going to risk this for a one night thing, because I'm not getting back into wrestling.
Of course.
Like that was always my thing. I'm not getting back into wrestling.
Yeah.
Again, if the situation came about, like I would love to do commentary. I would love to do, work on production, but I am not, at no point do I want to get back into wrestling. So I think at that point for that pay-per-view, I might have just said, I'm not available, can't do it.
Yeah. And understandable as well from your position and situation at that point in time as well, not wanting to get back into wrestling, especially being on a scale and a stage like that is still a WWE, production. Right. That could have given you the wrestling bug to get back into it, and God knows where.
Yeah, and I don't think I would have. Like, I don't want to be offered, because I don't want to have to ever say no.
Yeah, of course. Especially to an offer like that, man.
Yeah.
Back to you, Kyle.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about post ECW, but still ECW related. I want to know what you thought of WWE's relaunch of
Garbage.
ECW. Firstly, with the invasion, the invasion before we get to WWE ECW.
The invasion was weak.
They didn't have Sandman.
No, it was weak. The whole thing was weak. And the zombie, seriously. Come on, like, what
that's
the
WWE.
fuck?
That's WWE ECW, but that little ECW group they had in the invasion with the Alliance was just. There's no Sabu.
Nah.
There's no Sandman. There's no one that really embodied what ECW was.
They got rid of the people who made it outlaw. Okay, so you no longer have the outlaw group. You got the two biggest fucking menaces to society that you've not allowed in here because they're dangerous people for your TV, for your family-friendly TV. Yeah. Well, then you're not running that show anymore.
And
that's all. Like, that's just basics.
that whole invasion angle with WCW and WWF. I mean, a 10-year-old
Oh,
kid
well,
could have figured out a better way of
yeah,
doing
well,
it than what they did. For that
yeah,
angle to end in like what 4 or 5 months is insulting to
it
wrestling
was
fans who
garbage.
died to see what was going to happen when the two brands collided. And if you want to
Do you
throw
remember?
ECW in the fray, then shit.
So do you guys remember when Taz walked out and how real that all seemed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and then Chetty and all those guys were with him, and they got thrown out. That was, come on, that was perfect. Okay, that was done so well. What it turned into became garbage, became hot garbage. And then when WWE owned it, it became worse. And I have it directly from CM Punk's mouth that when he was the champ, he was treated poorly by The Undertaker and guys like that. They looked at him like he was a fucking second-class citizen. He had no respect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but ECW was treated as the cast-off because, again, and it's not even like in a cool way. Oh, these are the fucking misfits. No, it wasn't even that anymore. It was just garbage. It was just awful. So I don't know. I actually watched 2 episodes and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I want to see.
especially-
I want to see. Yeah, you want to see your friends succeed, so you're hoping. But like guys like Danny Doring, who was there, and he had, they were going to give him a shot, but they're like, we can't figure out what to do with you.
Never gave him a
No.
chance.
No, he was working his ass off. So then he was there, and they said, well, we're not going to put you on TV. Well, how about this? I got an idea. Nope, we're not going to do that. Okay, so everything he gave them, they shot down. So
It was the same with CW Anderson. It was the same with Francine when they
fuck's sakes.
relaunched ECW,
Exactly.
and they had ECW. And this is my little moment here today, talking to a former ECW guy. You do ECW, but you air it before you tape it before SmackDown inside of an arena. That ECW was more suited to being in those towns that they were
Small
always
venues.
in. So why not
Yep.
have them travel and do their own thing and try and brand it that way, as opposed to being on in a big arena before SmackDown with a makeshift fucking set. It's
Plus they were trying to save
insulting to
money.
me, and that was
horrible.
that was the third strike for me, and that's why I stopped watching WWF. It was the invasion, it was the NWO getting fucked up, and then when ECW came along, and I had my hopes up high, when they fucked that up so fucking badly, when anyone could have figured out how to do that correctly, that was when I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I know that what it was is not. It's never going to be that way again.
No, and that's the thing I keep saying. And even they did Shane Douglas did a reboot at the arena, and all these people came and they keep doing these reboots and reboots and reboots. You're never going to get that vibe.
No.
Even if you had, we had when we went back and did the Legends thing, we met the fans that were there. The first hat guy and this guy and that guy, all the guys that you saw, and you will always say it wasn't the same. It can never be the same. Never going to be the same. Stop trying to catch it.
So
do your own thing.
Did the June 27th, 2009 Legends of the Arena reunion show, does it at least a little bit feel authentic, or had
It
the
did.
old
It felt
ECW arena
fun.
changed too much?
Well, the arena changed completely. It was no longer a dank shithole. But it had changed. But at the same time, it was good to see those people. Anything after that, this has been done to death. How many reunions are we having?
Well, there was one more after that. It was on the 8th of August 2010 for TNA Hardcore Justice, where yourself, Guido, Tony Mameluke, and Tracy Smothers were there, and they defeated Kid Cash, Johnny Swinger, and Simon Diamond.
Yeah.
Tell me about the TNA experience. You finally were there for one of these reunion shows.
Yeah, we had a great time.
You had fun?
Oh man, I loved it. TNA was super, super cool to us. They were just honestly just super nice to us. They took care of us. They were all the boys there were really, really cool. Dixie, everybody was just super nice. It was a great experience. It was professional. Everything was was really great. And we had fun. And then they did the thing where, hey, we're gonna get the FBI back together. And I was like, no, we're not. And Guido and Tony did a couple of shows after that for TNA, and they got squashed.
Oh, that's a shame because they could have done a lot.
Yeah, they really
Even
could
at
have
that
been
stage.
right on the TNA stage, and then that would have went away. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, wrestling has become almost the equivalent of the drummer in Spinal Tap. Like, your job is not guaranteed. You could be dead tomorrow because the climate changes so fast, and your people being fired, let go. Well, now Paul doesn't have a job anymore. Now Bruce is running it. Whatever. So
Yeah,
I don't know,
actually, I wanted to throw that in today. I mean, Jesus. I mean, how can Paul not do a good job if he's unfiltered? Like, let him just have his vision for a year, and I'm sure it'll be fine. When he was running OVW, I saw that shit. I downloaded it, and what he did with OVW back in the day was really fucking awesome. And just Vince, just let him just try it, just for 6 months, see how it goes. But no, I just feel like Vince McMahon.
You know what
too
happens
old now, and he can't. He keeps
he's so out of
interfering.
touch. It's ridiculous.
They don't need 30 riders, man.
Somebody will go, okay. I show up and I say, you know what? This Jack kid, he's got potential. This Jack kid's got potential. I want to push him. I'm going to come up with a storyline. Jack is going to fuck Carl over. It's going to be awesome. It'll be wonderful. It'll be a big heel turn. Nobody will see it coming. You got the baby face. It'll be great. And then they decide I'm no longer needed here. So now I'm out. And the next guy who comes in kind of didn't like me. Maybe had some heat with me. And then goes, oh, what were you doing? Oh, yeah, Jack, okay, we're going to hold off this week on TV for you.
Oh, bullshit.
And now that's what happens. Now the big push I had for you is gone.
Yeah.
Because you've been replaced. All because somebody had heat with Paul. So now anything he pushed gets squashed.
Yeah, like I noticed it when I watched WWF and Vince Russo was pushing Test. And then as soon as Russo was gone, Test was just getting just right in his fucking asshole, dude. Just fucking took it hard, and now he's doing
that's
fucking
what I laugh
nothing.
about. Well,
yeah.
Depressing.
Vince or Test?
No. I just meant after Vince was gone.
Right now, pal.
No, he's not. But at the time, in the storylines, he was doing nothing after being like engaged to Stephanie McMahon. I mean, Jesus Christ.
He was groomed to be the next thing.
Yeah. And
it just as soon as that push went away from
he's on fucking Sunday Night Heat every week.
Yep. Or what was the other one? 501 or what was the other bullshit?
WWF Metal.
There was some other horse shit that was garbage.
Metal, Jacked.
Jacked. That was the other one. Jacked. Garbage. But yeah, like I don't know. Like it's one of those things that you need to have someone in your corner. You need to have somebody just always there to protect you. But in the climate that it is now, nothing is stable. No one is. When you fire somebody like fucking Briscoe, you're like, wait, what? This has been your stooge for how long? Now you're gonna get rid of him? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, these things don't make sense. And even business, if you have somebody who knows your company, who knows your product, who knows your situation, there are certain points when, okay, yeah, you're out of touch. Maybe we need to replace it with fresh blood. Sure. But you've done that a dozen times in the past year. You've replaced people with this person. You replaced writers with new writers.
It can't be all their fault.
New writers with new writers.
It can't be all their fault. It can't be all Eric
it's never Vince's.
And Paul and Christopher Joseph. It can't be all their fault.
But it's never Vince's. That's the thing. So now who are you going to blame? So now let me ask you a question. So you're the second guy. You're the number 2 guy. Okay, it's not Vince's fault. Whose fault is it? Oh, it's number 2. So now you have to scramble.
It'll be Bruce's fault soon. It'll be Bruce's fault.
Right, but now so Bruce has to scramble and figure out who he's going to blame for this being a botch.
Yeah. Someone else will get fired.
So, right. And then it'll be somebody else's fault. And then it'll be the women's division. And then it'll be there'll be pushes all over the place. I'll be honest. And just in the situation going on now, in our country with BLM and all this other stuff. Have you guys seen what Titus came out and had an amazing promo about, unity and everybody working together. I'm
sure he won't
100%
be on
honest.
TV.
Yeah, I am 100% shocked that Vince hasn't brought him back to fucking goof him up, just to make him do goofy shit.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. You know.
Because
Yeah.
that would be Vince. That would be exactly what Vince would do. Vince would go, yeah, just see what he did. It was great stuff. Get him in. Bring him in here. And he'd bring him in, and then he would make, and to use the word, they would make him do fucking ridiculous coonery.
Yeah.
Just to show who's in charge. And he touched Vince at once, so they squashed his pay-per-view push. Ridiculous. So I'm 100% shocked that Vince has not got him back after his amazing promo during this whole riot situation. I honestly thought I would expect to see, hear that Titus got rehired and got a big pushback.
Yeah. Jack, what have you got now?
Looking back on your career at this point, do you have any regrets?
I never got to work with Vader.
That would have been awesome.
I always wanted to work with him, and I know this is going to sound so weird, but I've always wanted to work with somebody who I wouldn't have to be afraid to hit.
Yeah. Because you can hit. It's hard.
Yeah. I heard he was a stiff son of a bitch too. And when I met him, he was a real prick. And I was so disappointed. So I just made fun of him the whole time. He kept trying, and again, you'll be hard pressed to find people who will have a nice thing to say about Vader. But I've watched all of his matches. I've watched all of his tapes. And I loved everything he did. And I always wanted to do what he did. But I always wanted to work with him later on. Yeah. And that was the one thing I was very upset about, that in my later on, in my, doing indies and stuff, I was like, man, I'd love to work with Vader and just be able to throw back and forth and be like, yeah, man, cool. And I told him, I met him at one of the conventions, and I told him that. And I said, man, I've been a huge fan of yours. You've always inspired me. And I always wanted to work with you just as a thing. I would have loved to have us just gone at it and just hammered each other the whole time. And he kind of blew it off. And then I asked him, I said, would you mind if I got a picture with you? I just really, and he was like, he goes, well, it has to be $20, man. And I'm like, fuck, are you serious? So at that point, I was like, really? So I said, hey, can I wear the mask? And I picked up his fucking helmet. I picked up his helmet. I was like, can I wear it? He's like, no, don't put it down. I got to get nervous. So I was like, all right, you know what? I paid the $20. I paid the $20 to him. And he wanted to stand in front of me, and he had to angle himself so he looked bigger. But now I'm like probably a good 7 inches taller than he is. And I just fucking kept doing this, kept puffing up and getting bigger. And he kept trying to outbig me. And he kept trying to get bigger, and I would just blow up bigger behind him. And then at one point, I just put my shoulder in front of him with a picture that I have, and I have to find the picture. It's a picture of me and him and my shoulders in front of his face. And I just, it was always one of those things of like, seriously, man, don't, it just ruined it. You've ruined everything I ever thought of you, because there was no need for it. There was no need to be a prick. Yeah. I just finished telling you how much I admired you, and I really admired your work and your ethic. And even though you're hurt, you're still going. I fucking appreciate. And he just fucking shit on me. I was like, wow. And I was sitting across, yeah. But that was the 2 days I got to actually get redemption for old stuff. Him and I got Lex Luger, because Lex Luger now looks like the Crypt Keeper. So he was a prick to me a long, long time ago. And then when he sat across from me at his table signing, I just unleashed on him all day. And I was like, look at this motherfucker. Who let that corpse in the fucking room? And I was like, I kept telling kids, I'm like, hey man, go get your picture taken with the Crypt Keeper before he goes. And he didn't remember. And I said, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you remember or not. I do. And, what are you going to say to me? What are you going to hit me? You're going to break your wrist. Look at you. You look like Mr. Salty, the stick pretzel guy. There's nothing you're going to, So look what happened. And then that's something I've always remembered. You never know who you're going to meet later on in life. You never going to know what situation you're going to be in next time you meet them.
Of course.
So that is something to take forever and ever. I will always remember that, because I know I'm an asshole. There's things I say and do that just asshole things, but I always try to treat everybody with respect that I wanted the same given to me. So again, like I get to see guys like that. Guys were on top of the world, and now they're fucking selling jerseys on Pawn Stars. So whatever, man.
Who's your closest friend in the business through everything?
It's probably I'm gonna say I give you the list of guys I talk to. Guys like Crowbar, guys like Danny, guys like Roadkill, Nova, like these guys are the same guys that talk. Stevie Richards, me and Stevie, GGP. He's an indie wrestler guy. Kid is fucking amazing. Ben Hameen from the Horsemen. Funny thing, I met him for my first show in Queens, New York. He was a fan, and I met him and started talking with him. And then years later, he had his own. He was an OVW. He was a writer for OVW. So, it's one of those things of life keeps taking you around, and you keep meeting the same people. But these guys I talk to, they're daily, because I've literally forgotten everyone else. Yeah. They've been, it's just, I have no need for them in my life anymore, because either they're negative or they're just, I don't need that kind of insanity. These are the people I kept around because they're like family, and we've become family. We were family back then almost because we were forced to. Now we're family because we choose to. So it's like, so Pat Kenny, I see, I talk to him on social media because, he's busy. He's a busy dude. But again, these are guys I loved. Dawn Marie, me and Dawn, I found out we went to the same high school together. And don't let her know I told you, but she's older than me. So yeah, she was a couple of years ahead of me in high school, but we all went to the same high school together. We knew the same people. And then when we first got our ECW start, we started within a couple months, a month or two of each other. So it was kind of cool seeing that. But yeah, it's but if you right now, Stevie Richards, this kid, that guy, if you want to look up the word saint, it would be Stevie Richards. This kid he is, man, I called him a kid. He'd fucking pop at that. He's honestly become one of my closest friends. And because he is genuinely the nicest person on the planet. I don't want to get into a whole social diatribe about stuff, but when this guy does things for the good of people, he does things and doesn't look to get paid or recognition or anything. And fans, and that sickens me when they say things like, what does he know? He's a jobber. Or like this guy has put together Stevie Richards Fitness. He's put this together through hard work, through research, through doing it. And if you look at him, okay, I don't know, he's stooged off enough. He's 40, 47, 48 years. No, let's see, 49, might be 49 years old. This guy is in fucking amazing shape.
Oh yeah.
If not to free plug anything, but if you go look him up right now. Don't go look up fucking Right to Censor pictures, you assholes. I know people are the first thing they're going to do. Go look up Stevie Richards Fitness right now and look at this man's body, what he does every day.
I will vouch
for
because
himself.
I follow Stevie Richards on Instagram, so I see his workout videos.
Okay.
Every single
day. So you
day.
can testify that I'm not making shit up.
He has this fucking incredible setup in his lounge room that folds away and becomes a piece of the furniture, and then he can just bring it back out and it's a full gym. Let
me explain to you. His house is a gym. Okay. he despite his wife's disagreement, their house is a friggin', it beats any LA Fitness you could ever see or Planet Fitness. Stevie's house got him beat. But he is one of the nicest people on the planet. And I feel like people who call themselves fans, and that again, like I said, that just sickens me, when on Facebook for no reason they give his shit thumbs down. Meanwhile, he's giving away free content.
Yeah.
And I dare you to find any DDP or any of these other guys who have their super workout shit. Nobody gives away free content. He does it for people's betterment. just because for betterment. And, you know, I don't know. He's one of the people I've embraced as a brother because he's just one of the most selfless people on the planet. So
he seems fucking awesome, man. Like,
we would love to talk to him one day.
Reach out to him. He's not a dick. I'll talk to him. I'll let him know if just let him know if you guys are interested and you guys want to talk. I'll tell him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because
I think his story is incredibly interesting.
He is just
the broken
if
neck
you want to be
WZW and right to censor.
Thanks, Terry Funk.
Shit afterward, I think his career is very interesting. So we would love to.
And
talk
he has fought like some talk about depression. Imagine being in the WWE, living your dream and being miserable every day.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, man.
You know what I mean?
I couldn't picture it, man. Like, you finally get to that point, and it takes so much hard work over so many years, and you're just fucking hating it every second you're there.
Poor guy.
Deserve
better. Totally deserve better.
It's depressing to think about. Like, it's just.
Like I said, man, it's like, it's just one of those things where you're just kind of like, oh, really? You don't want to research anymore because you're like, I don't want to know. I want to stay a little stupid right now. I don't want to take the red pill yet.
Yeah, you want to stay. You want to stay like with the toddler mentality. You want to be a little kid with everything again, or at least for the rest of your life. But
Jack, do you want to ask your last question before we get to 5-second frenzy?
Yeah, I think we actually touched on this before. But what do you think of the state of the wrestling business today?
It is a baby diaper full of drizzling shit.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Brilliant. Right, so we have a segment here, Sal, where it's called 5-second frenzy. And essentially you have 5 seconds to answer each question.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't make the 5 seconds, there's nothing I can do about it because I live in Perth, Western Australia. So I'm just going to quick fire questions. I want to get on. We want to learn about you, the things that you like, the things that you love in life. Are you keen?
Okay. Yeah, let's go, man.
Okay. Number 1, favorite musical artist.
Guar.
Oh man, did not see that one coming. That's great. Favorite TV show.
Currently don't have one.
No.
Echo.
Yeah. Currently don't have one. No. I liked it, but it's over.
Your favorite opponent.
Definitely would be Danny and Roadkill.
Favorite match.
Danny and Roadkill. Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
Sushi.
Interesting.
Your favorite film.
Well, that's a lot. Excalibur.
Favorite alcoholic beverage.
Beer.
Nice. What's your favorite female body part?
Yes. What's that useless the skin around the vagina? What's that called? Oh, a woman. Yeah.
yeah. Those things.
And lastly, what is your favorite curse word?
Cunt has become my super favorite.
Oh man, you're a real Australian.
I've loved it. I loved it. I went to Ireland and I was just laughing the entire time.
How good is that?
I was just enjoying it. I was enjoying it the whole time. And then when I got back to the airport and I was like, oh, what a cunt. And I realized that it didn't translate. And people were just like, oh, they were going to fight me. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I love that.
People get offended real quick if they're.
Oh, yeah.
I love foreigners to Australian culture.
Yeah.
Discovering cunt is a very common word here.
It really is.
I was talking to someone from Ohio 3 weeks ago on Call of Duty, and as soon as he found out the word was acceptable, we started throwing that thing around, like just saying, "Fuck yeah, cunts, let's go, cunts."
Oh yeah.
Every 2 seconds, I find it just to be so amusing. Anyway.
Yeah, no, trust me, man. I do, and that's one of the reasons that I don't go on live chat on COD is because cunts and horrible words that get thrown around.
Oh yeah.
Sal, before we go and we sail off into the sunset, I just want to ask you if you have anything you'd like to plug or anything else that you would like to say to your fans or anyone out there that's watching this right now.
The people who remember, the people who enjoyed it, I'm glad you did. And I'm glad I can entertain you. Thanks for letting me. As far as plugging, we do for Hameen Media Network, we do the Conspiracy Horseman every Wednesday on Twitch. It's 7:15, I think it is. We do also the Horror Junkyard, which is me and my friend Chuck and our friend Kat. We watch awful movies, non-mainstream horror movies, and then we just talk about them, basically shit on them while we drink. And there's, again, go back to the Hameen Media Network. There's tons of stuff on there. All of us, our friend Matt Gage, Schaefer, he has Sucked by Balls, which is the South Park podcast. And then we have NFO, which GGP runs, which is, to me, one of the most amazing Star Wars podcasts out there. They have their shit together. It's amazing. So aside from that, just that's pretty much it. I keep low key, and I'm gonna work on gaming. I'm a big game nerd. So
Awesome.
You know, I keep writing, keep doing artwork for some friends doing role-playing games, and I try to write out some modules for games. And aside from that, I just play games with friends. You know, I play Zombicide, shit like that. Like, again, big dork.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome, man. I'm much the same. Not so much for that, just massive into video games. Pretty much all genres, really. Like, way too much into it. Takes too much time.
My friend Chuck on Horror Junkyard, he is our producer as well. He is big into the conventions and DBZ and all fighting game platforms. So he keeps me up to date on all the tech stuff that wise, because I play Call of Duty, I play Diablo, I play Doom. Like those are my three. Actually, and now I actually want to get the Predator game just to play Predator for a while. So yeah, but aside from that, like, he keeps me updated on video games. But aside from that, I'm a book guy, I'm a role playing nerd guy, so I do that shit all day. Collect my dice and shit like that. So
Jack, I think you and Sal should hook up and play a little Call of Duty together at some point.
Well, when I get I play on PS4.
One of us will
trying to
end up
remember.
with 200 ping, but I'm sure we'll make it work. There'll be some serious lag, but it'll work. It'll work.
I appreciate you being on here very, very much. And I know when we were first talking, you thought that me and Jack would fall asleep. And
I'm still awake.
Here's the test. Here's the whole test. We started this at 11 p.m. our time, 11 a.m. your time. We're still ready. We're still, we're still going. We're still doing, this is why we wanted to interview you, because we're interested in your career. And you might think we were going to fall asleep, but as far as I'm concerned, you were an unsung hero in the wrestling business. You did some great things, and you were at the height of the wrestling business on television. And I want you to know that we appreciate you and everything that you did.
Thanks, man. Like, guys, I thank you for having me on. And, again, it's really cool to know people are out there who dig it. So yeah, man, thanks for having me. And you just let me know when you're going to do this. I could put this out on our shows, and we could talk about it whenever you guys get you guys over. Not that you're not over, but let people know where to find 55 Live.
Awesome, man. We will do. No, it's been an absolute pleasure. And especially as a growing channel, it's also just awesome to be able to sort of talk to people who are also doing the same as what we're doing and willing to get the word out there. So that'd be fucking awesome, man. Really appreciate that. And
Excellent.
Of course,
No problem.
Really appreciate your time. It has literally been 2.5 hours we've been going for now. So
I can just talk forever. That's why, because I'm a drone on.
And you said at the start of the interview that we would only go for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
2.5 hours later. So
there we go.
All right, gents. Well, thank you again very much. And if you ever need anything, give me a holler, okay?
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sal, and thank you,
Later,
Jack.
guys.
What a great episode it was tonight. This was 55 Live Podcast in conjunction with WZWA Network. And you'll see us next time when we interview none other than Scott Hudson. Thank you very much.
Thank you.